Hello and welcome to Live with the Paper Pixie episode. I think we're 388. I'm Julie DiMatteo, the Paper Pixie, coming to you live from Alpharetta, Georgia. As you're rolling on in, say hello and where you're watching from, and hello to my replay watchers. Forgot to tell you the date today. It's Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025, in case you're watching this on replay. And I have a really cool project for you tonight. It is a bit of a remix of a project that I've done a couple of times before. This is a slightly different size, and I wanted to figure out a different way to close the project. Or a different way to close the box. So first I want to give a quick shout out and thank you to Susan for the super chat. Thank you so much for that. So welcome everybody. Let's see, if you've got questions for me tonight, go ahead and put a Q in front of that question. Please do save the Q for questions. That helps me out so that I can get through all the questions. I'm going to save all of your questions until the end of tonight's live stream. That way I can focus on demonstrating tonight's project, and then I will stay on at the end until I answer all your questions that come through live. Brian is also next to me. He's watching your questions as well. If you're new here, say hello and let us know in the chat. My amazing audience will give you a big warm welcome, and if you forget the cue, Brian will try to grab it as well. Today it was a big day in Stampin' Up! World because the September to December 2025 mini catalog launched today, along with a whole bunch of online exclusive products. It was a big release day today, and I think there was 2 new kits released as well. I've got a couple of links in the description for you to the mini catalog products as well as the online exclusives category, so go check that out if you haven't already. I haven't yet taken a look to see what the first orders were coming. I always like to see what you guys order on the first day to kind of see what I think might be the product winners out of the mini catalog and online exclusives. You guys are loving it. I'm hearing great feedback. I love it myself. And I've had fun starting to play with the new products as well. So we're in for a treat for some brand new stuff over the next few months. Let's see, I placed my product share order at 2 a.m. this morning. I did take a little 20-minute nap today. I did try to go back to sleep, but you know how that is when you're up and focused and all that good stuff. So again, the mini catalog launched today. Lots of great products for the fall, for the Christmas holiday. And kind of everything in between over the next few months. But do be sure to check out the online exclusives because there's some amazing product there as well. And and also like non-holiday stuff as well in the online exclusives. So check that out. What else do I have for you? Life has been lifing, so it's been a little chaotic around here. So I just have one project for you tonight. Before I forget, and I'll remind you at the end, there is no live stream next week. The date on that would be Wednesday, September 10th. No live stream. We will be back on September 17th. So I always get emails saying, where are you? But I will not be live next week. All right, we'll be back on the 17th. All right, let me go ahead and get my keyboard out of the way. Here is the project that we're going to make tonight, and it's using the beautiful new Gathered Together. Hold on, let me see if I can remember the name of the paper. Yes, the Gathering Together Specialty Designer Series paper, and hopefully you can see as the light catches it, it's got gold throughout it. It's gorgeous. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of that paper. I'll flip through the pages so you can see how beautiful it is, but this is from I think this is in the online exclusive, so you won't see this one in the catalog, but it is a gorgeous suite. So this is the catalog that I'm talking about today, and now I can finally show you the inside of it, but it is, 67 pages of inspiration, all kinds of amazing products. The catalog, I love the way that it's laid out, kind of starts out with the step-by-step and quick and easy, and then you step into, for those of us who are avid crafters, the product suites as well. On my website, thepaperpixie.com/catalogs, you can see the digital version of both this PDF, the mini catalog, as well as Stampin' Up! Created a PDF for us of the online exclusives that just launched. So that is a great handy reference as well. Just doing a quick flip through. The Creativity Your Way section is the one that starts with all the amazing product suites. So some really, really gorgeous paper. I didn't print out the online exclusives brochure, but you'll find that, actually, if you're on my email list, I email that out today as well. Okay, so that's the mini catalog. Let's see. Let me show you the stunning paper that we're using. Again, this is Gathering Together. It's a specialty paper, but you get 12 sheets of 2 each of 6 double-sided designs. It's 12 sheets of 12 by 12. So you've got one side that has the gold foiling. I think it's gold, or is it champagne? Hold on. It's champagne foil. We've got another specialty one that's gold, but champagne. So this is kind of front and back. Look at this. This is just a gorgeous neutral. Doesn't have to be used for fall. This is the back side of that one. Beautiful plaid. So the champagne foil is just on one side of the paper. This almost is like a bubble pattern. It's hard to see on camera. Yeah, it's kind of coming through right above my face. This is kind of the white background version of the one I'm using on tonight's project. It's just so hard for the website to do our papers justice. Our designer series papers are one of my absolute favorite products that Stampin' Up! Offers. I love this one with the bright greens and yellows in there. There's the back side, and this pattern coordinates with the embossing folder that's part of the suite. I think that's the end of that. So yeah, a stunning, stunning paper. All right. And then I wanted to give a little bit of background on this treat box. For those of you that watch my videos, this probably looks familiar. I went back to some older projects that I still hang on to, but look how cute this is. It's like mini, or like small, medium, and large. So this one's created out of a 6x6. This one is 5x6, and this one is 4x6. And these two go together the same way, where they have the flap in the back. And I still wanted to figure out how to create this cute little gift pouch with the flap in the front, because I just think that's so cute. And I don't know if you guys have seen the reels where they make like little mini gift bags out of like wrapping paper, where they kind of fold the bottom in a certain way. That's what this is reminiscent of to me. But it took me a really long time to figure out where to put the score lines so that we could have the seam in an appropriate spot. Because the first time I did it, the seam was in the front and that didn't look good. So on these, the seam is in the back, but I figured it out, and hopefully it is easy for you to put together. I believe that it is, but I absolutely love this little pouch. It is, let's see, it's 3 inches tall. I had to think about that for a second. This one's 2, this one's 3, and this one's 4. 1 inches in depth. The bottom here is 1 3/4, and the top is 2 3/4. So it's tapered, but I think you can get a handful of treats in there, maybe some jewelry to give to a friend. It's a really sweet little gift bag. And for this closure, these two are Velcro dots. This one, we're gonna punch holes, and I'm using our linen thread, which I think goes so well with this designer series paper, okay? Now, the gold foil is cut from the Stylish Shapes, and then this oval shaped one, which does have some stitching detail to it, that one comes from the Traditional Labels dies. Okay, so there's one more that I've got back here that cut out this oval, but these are great as well. I think that these ones are in the mini catalog. It's hard for me to keep track of what's the catalog versus online exclusives. Okay, I think that's it. We're using Early Espresso ink. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the project. I've got a template that I'll show on screen, and then my project sheet will be ready tomorrow for you. I will email that out to my email subscribers, and I will also link it in the video description. So just give me a day and I'll get that posted for you and emailed. All right, so we're gonna start with a piece of the Gathering Together Designer Series paper, and you want a piece that measures 5 inches by 6 inches. If you're using a directional pattern, you want it to be in landscape. So sometimes that's hard to describe landscape, but the top is longer than the side when it's landscape. So this one isn't really a directional pattern, but 5 by 6. I'm gonna bring in my Simply Scored, and I'm gonna turn it to the short side first. And we're gonna score at 1 inch from each side. So 1 inch, rotate at 180 and 1 inch again. I'm doing the measurements this way so that if you wanted to change the height of the pouch, these measurements are gonna stay the same. You would just change up. The height of this is 5 inches. You could do the 4 inch, the 6 inch. You could even do taller than that. But you're gonna change, so the 5 inch measurement on this is what you would change if you wanna make it taller or shorter, okay? So on the short side, the 5 inch side, we're gonna score at 1 from each side, okay? Then I want you to bring it back to where if you've got a directional pattern, your pattern is at the top, so it's going top to bottom. And you're gonna score at 2 3/4 all the way down and 5 1/2 all the way down, okay? Then I'm gonna rotate at 180. We're gonna do the opposite 6 inch side. And we're gonna score at, all of these score lines are gonna stop at the first horizontal score line. So let me show you the template first before I score so you can get an idea of where we're going. All right, so we had turned it to the 5 inch side and we scored 1 inch and 1 inch. Then we turned it to where our pattern was at the top, so the direction going top to bottom, and we scored at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2 all the way down. Then we rotated at 180, and this is what we're about to do now. I know that this looks really weird, but there is a method to my madness so that this goes together as a really cute little pouch with a flap that folds over the front, okay? So we are going to score from the top down to that first horizontal score line. So we're gonna do that at 1 inch. And just to show you, I've got the 1 inch there and I'm stopping right at, a little hard to see on the camera, but right at that horizontal score line. Okay, so we're doing 1 inch. Then we are doing 2 3/4. Again, these are all stopping at that horizontal score line. Then we're doing 3 3/4 and 5 1/2. Let me repeat those again. So 1, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, 5 1/2. So that's the same thing on here. So we're doing 1, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, 5 1/2. Okay, and that is all the scoring that we're gonna do. All right, I'm gonna move the template off to the side for a second. We're gonna bring that back in a moment. Now what I want you to do is fold and burnish on just the score lines that go all the way across the paper. Okay, so let me grab my bone folder. Bubba G in the house. Hey, Gregors. Counting down until I get to see you. So there's gonna be only 4 score lines that go all the way across the paper. Now, when I do this little 1/2 inch one, I also wanna make sure that I'm gonna just double check when I fold this over. I wanna make sure that I've got this folded edge is lining up really nicely with this kind of raw edge there. So if I need to just like adjust anything a little bit, I'll kind of do that now. So I don't know if you can see on camera, that back edge is overhanging just a little bit. So I'm just gonna kind of adjust that a wee bit. And then I'll just burnish this one more time. Just a slight adjustment there. So like that. Okay, now we're gonna come in with our scissors. This is where I wanna make sure that you're looking at the template because I don't want you to cut anywhere that we don't wanna cut. So we're gonna have these score lines kind of going right through the middle of 2 of the bottom flaps. So essentially, I want you to not cut the score lines that go all the way up. Hopefully that is easy enough for you to remember. So we're gonna cut on all the vertical score lines except for the ones that go all the way up. So we're cutting on all the short ones only, okay? So I'm gonna do it from the back because I think it's a little bit easier to see the score lines. So if we're looking at the score lines here, we've got this one and this one go all the way across the paper. We're not cutting on those vertical score lines. It's only the short ones. There's 4 of them, okay? Get my scissors. And I'm just gonna cut right up the middle. Again, we're only cutting on the short ones that don't go all the way across, or all the way up, I should say. Like so. And now we're gonna do a little bit of miter cutting. So I'm just gonna fold this out of the way. There's a couple of ways that we can do this, and I'm actually gonna do it so it's quite faster. I'm gonna sandwich this in half. So I've folded those 2 larger, like 1 3/4 inch sections up and out of the way. And then I'm just gonna kind of sandwich this one, okay? And what that's gonna do is allow me to miter cut. I'm looking at this for 1 second, let's see. When I was miter cutting it, when I did the sample, I was like, oh, I think we can make this easier. So I'm just gonna come in and miter cut here. That's basically gonna do 2 miter cuts for me at the same time. So if I open that, you'll see that that tab has been miter cut, okay? And then I can go on either side of this one. Like so. So see how we've got those miter cuts? Now they're a little hard to see with, maybe if I put them on the paper here. So that should match the template. You've got this really weird like half tab here, and I had originally tried cutting it off and it just didn't look right. So that tab actually needs to stay put. Again, method to my madness. It is not the end of the world if you don't miter cut. It just helps the box bottom go together much nicer, okay? So now we're gonna focus on the top. I'm gonna kind of flip it this way, and I'm gonna remove our little rectangle. So if I turn it this way, we're removing the little rectangle and the one just adjacent to it, and we're leaving this one attached. So if I kind of flip it upside down, I'm just gonna cut up this vertical score line here. This is the section that we're keeping. So I just kind of fold that out of the way, and then I can remove the rest of this, whichever way is easiest for you to cut. Now for this, I like to cut just next to the score line. So the piece that I remove will still have the score line attached. See that little score line edge there? And then the last thing we're gonna do is just do a little miter cut here on this little 1/2 inch section. There we go. All right. So there's that, okay? Now a couple more things we're gonna do before we put this together. I wanna round corners and add some hole punches to help us close with a little bow, okay? All right, so in order to get the hole punch around these 2 edges, you kind of have to fold your little treat pouch together like this. And so that way it gives you that flat edge on either side, because I'll show you, it's fine in this corner, but if you try to get the punch in there, it just doesn't fit unless you fold this over, okay? So we're gonna round those corners. Like so. It just gives it a nice finish. All right, so now let's do our hole punches. You can absolutely eyeball the hole punching, but I'm gonna also show you how you can do a little measurement, okay? All right. I'm just grabbing a piece of grid paper or some way that I can see 1/2 inch. So on our grid paper, if you're on the imperial side, 2 of these squares is 1/2 inch. Because I want to come in with my I'm actually going to do it from the back side because it'll be easier for you to see your pencil marks. I'm going to grab my ruler. Where is my ruler? Oh, I see it. Oh, Janet, thank you for the super sticker. All right, so I love when it describes the sticker. Director's chair with the words on set. I love it. All right, so I want to go to the 1/2 inch point. So you'll see that this flap, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see this a little bit better. This flap is 1 inch in height, so it's 4 squares. So I'm just gonna bring my ruler up to where there's only 2 squares left. So that means I've got a 1/2 inch left, okay? And I'm gonna put my edge of my ruler right there. I'm gonna grab a pencil. I'm gonna make a little tick mark at 1 1/8. So 1 1/8 and 1 5/8. I'm basically putting the holes centered and 1/2 inch apart. So hopefully you can see those little pencil marks. So I'm gonna first bring in an 1/8 inch hole punch. I feel like I must have left pencil lead on my ruler. All right, so let's go ahead, excuse me. I'm gonna punch those holes. I know that's getting too close to the camera. So I've got those punched. Then I'm just gonna fold this down, excuse me. And I'm going to make a pencil mark now right in those holes. That's the front of the pouch. So now I know that's where I need to punch those 2 holes. There we go. So those are totally lined up there. All right, so that work is done. Let me zoom back out. I'm gonna mute for. I don't know if that worked, but I tried muting. Okay, so you don't have to listen to me cough. All right, so liquid glue. The first thing we're gonna do is put liquid glue all the way along, what is this? The 1/2 inch side, okay? So I'm gonna, essentially what we're gonna do here is this is gonna fold and that's gonna glue there, okay? So liquid glue is my favorite for this. Now, again, just pointing out, we've got those, like our little tabs here have a score line right through the middle, but that's totally fine. But I am gonna have glue go all the way up and down this little 1/2 inch section. Yeah, this would be great for Halloween treats. I love that idea, Sharon. Whoops, too much glue. And it goes together rather quickly. It's obviously taking me a little bit longer because I'm explaining as I go, but I've got liquid glue all the way down that 1/2 inch tab, and then I'm just gonna fold on that score line and just line everything up here. Now remember, we did that little tweak where we made sure that that edge lined up with that score line. And then I'm gonna come in and just burnish. So that's good and glued down right to the edge there. Make sure there's no glue hanging over the edge. All right, so now we have what looks like a little pocket with kind of some weird feet going on there, okay? So now what I'd like to do is just kind of pinch on the sides, just like a little pouch. And essentially what we're gonna do is now we've got these weird looking tabs that have a score line through the middle, but we're just gonna fold those in. I'm gonna kind of dry fit this first. So the tabs go in, then the back one is the one that has the flap on the back, and then the front. So that's essentially how it's gonna go together. And it gets that really nice rounded edge, which is what I love about these little pouches. So it's gonna go together like that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is go ahead and open this up. I'm gonna kind of fold the bigger sections out of the way, and I'm gonna kind of lift up one of those tabs. We're gonna do liquid glue on each of the tabs. Fold that guy down. and then liquid glue on that front flap. Like so. Now, I'm going to take the back flap and fold it over the tabs, and then this one over the back flap. And this is where liquid glue really helps. So I am pinching, I say pinching, but I'm kind of pinching very gently, side to side, front to back, so that that all gets squared up for a little bit. All right, now that I've got that, I'm gonna kind of flip it over, take my glue bottle, and just press from the inside. Just pressing those tabs down inside, okay? Just making sure everything is lined up nicely. Like so. All right, so look at how that pouch just came together. So it's just with the way that you do the score lines. Once you do that little rectangle at the bottom, you then get this really cute gift bag shape. Oh, I love it. And it's a pretty good size pouch. I know it looks tiny, but you can get a good handful of treats in there. Again, it would be really cute for maybe a pair of earrings or a necklace. Really, really cute pouch. And then it's going to go together like this. Now we've already done our hole punches. I'm going to show you how to feed the twine through, or ribbon. I always like to do it off the spool because I find that I waste less ribbon that way. So I'm going to show you how you're going to feed it through the holes so that you can tie it right off the spool. Obviously you would want to put your treat inside for sure, but it's just such a cute little pouch. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna do our stamping first, then I'm gonna show you how we do the ribbon, okay? That way the ribbon won't get in our way while we're doing our stamping and embellishing on the box. All right, so we're gonna do early espresso ink, and the stamp set we're using, I forgot to show you, is Gathering Moments. This is part of that whole Gathering Together suite, I think is the name of the suite. Beautiful. I think this is one of our distinctive stamps. I love the look of the images here. The sentiments are great as well. Your friendship means the world to me, expressing heartfelt gratitude. We're going to use thankful for you, and I love this many thanks as well. You could mask many thanks if you wanted to stack the many above the thanks. That's one of the cool things about stamps. You can just use some Scotch tape or some Post-it tape and mask, and then you can kind of change positions of the words, okay? All right, so thankful for you in early espresso. And then I had a couple of notes about last week's project I wanted to make sure I shared with you, so I'll do that before we wrap up. All right. I'm gonna run both of these through the die cutting machine. So we've got, let's just trim that off. This is gold foil, even though it's not champagne. I thought it was gold the whole time, but gold goes with champagne just fine. And then let me just trim off a little bit here, just so everything will fit on the cutting mat. Get that centered there. That looks good. I love the detail on those die cuts. Awesome. All right, so liquid glue, I'm gonna glue these guys together. I forgot to tell you the diameter on the stylus shapes. 1 and, let's see, 11/16, I think. a little more than 1 5/8 in diameter. So I'm going to do a little bit of liquid glue kind of in the center back of our sentiment, because it does hang off the edges a little bit of the stylish shaped circle. And if you're not sure about the glue placement, just use your silicone craft sheet, and then that way don't have to worry if you put a little extra glue back there. And then I'm actually going to glue this right onto the box itself, just so that the flap of the box has the dimension. So let's bring it back in. So that's going to fit kind of right down towards the bottom. Just get that centered. There we go. Will you grab Elizabeth's question? It may have just come through. I'm just kind of pushing that from the back. There we go. All right, so there's that. And then let me grab the linen thread. Okay, so pretend you could use linen thread, which I love with this suite of products, or a ribbon. But basically, if you're gonna thread it off of the spool, because you're gonna waste less ribbon, the way you're gonna do this is you're gonna go through the right hole on the flap. Okay. Then you're gonna go through. So I'm basically going through the front of the flap on the right. Then I'm gonna go through the right front. Okay, then we're gonna come out the left. Hold on, let me see if I can get it in there. I'm not paying attention. And then we're gonna feed that back through the top. So I will pause in a moment and repeat that. Okay, so we went through the right hole. So both right holes, we started at the flap, then through the front, then came out the left hole, and then up and out the left hole on the top. So hopefully you can see that string there. We've got our end here that we started with, and we went like that, okay? So now I can kind of close the flap and just pull on my linen thread. Let's see how much of a tail I want. So it is still attached to the spool here, okay? And then let me grab my reverse tweezers, because they're going to be my third hand here. But I'm going to go ahead and tie a bow just like I normally do. But I'm going to use my reverse tweezers to hold that little knot in place. Then I don't have to worry about those. Now I can focus on finishing my bow, whether this be ribbon or twine, whatever you use. Once you kind of get your knot tight, then I can take the tweezers out. All right, so I'm still on the spool here, but now I'm just gonna zhuzh my little bow. I like kind of the bigger loop-de-loops of the linen thread on this project. It goes so well with this paper, but I think I like that. You guys probably can't see that very well. And so then I like to pull both tails down so that I'll cut them at the same length. I'm kind of pulling down to the bottom of the pouch, and then I'll cut. And in this case, I love the little curly cues of the linen thread. But this would be gorgeous with like a gold ribbon. We've got one on the last chance list. That's the pairing of the gold and silver, the 1/8 inch ribbon or trim. That would be gorgeous with this. I know this is champagne, but gold still goes really nicely with it. But it's just a cool way to close this. You can obviously do a magnet or a Velcro dot, but this is another way to add a closure with a really pretty embellishment, okay? All right, so then we need one more, and this was the only excess of linen thread that I had. So if I had pulled off, you know, a long enough length to tie the bow, I might have had a little bit more excess. That's why I love tying things off the spool. All right, let me grab the embellishment. These are the gorgeous Cajun Craze and gold dots. Hard to tell on camera, but there's a little bit of gold in there. Beautiful. And I'm gonna grab my take your pick tool. Everything's behind me tonight as usual. And I'm gonna grab one of the large ones. to make a little bit of a statement here. I'm just gonna pop that in the upper right. Thought that looked really nice there. Super cute treat pouch. So again, let me bring in the other two to kind of show you how you can adjust the height for different size pouches. Everything else remains the same, but this one started with a 4x6, and again, the flap is in the back. So this is a different tutorial. The template will be different as well. So 4x6, 5x6, and 6x6. So they're basically graduating in height. So this is 4 inches, this is 3 inches, this is 2 inches once put together. But all of these have a 1-inch bottom and a 1-inch flap on the top. Personally, because I couldn't figure it out with these two, I love this one with the flap in the front. I know a few of you asked me about that when I demonstrated these projects, so I figured it out for you. But it's just such a cute little, I don't know. There's something about little pouches like this that have that smooth, kind of rounded edge that just, it makes such a difference with the pouch. So that is tonight's project. Quickly, before we move into the Q&A section, I wanted to show you really quickly about last week's template. I know I had asked you guys, most of you have probably already downloaded the project sheet, but I wanted to show you I came up with my own Paper Pixie Designer Series paper, but to help you identify which direction the paper needs to go. So if the pixies are upside down, your pattern needs to be upside down, and vice versa. So hopefully that helped you. I know it's a little hard to see, but I also identified on that template where the magnet goes. And obviously you would put it underneath the Designer Series paper if you're using magnets, but I just wanted to point that on the template from last week. So that little sidebar, and then was there anything else? I think that was it that I wanted to point out. Oh, there was one more thing. So last week's project, somebody asked me, and I'm so sorry I can't remember who it was, they wanted to know if glue dots would fit. So they won't fit in the box, but check this out. So this is a full roll of glue dots. Is a perfect fit for the split top gift box. So I don't know if you would gift, this would be cute for like a little team gift, that the glue dots fit perfectly in the split top gift box. Okay, so little sidebar there. All right, let's go ahead and go into the Q&A. Again, just a quick reminder, if you've got a question for me, put a Q in front of it. Please do save the Qs for questions. I'm about 20 to 30 seconds ahead of you, so if I miss your question at the tail end, just email me. You can always email me anytime during the week, but support@thepaperpixie.com. It's me in the inbox answering your questions, and I'm always happy to do so. All right. Let's see. Ooh, that's a good question, starting with Sharon right up front. How did you end up in Georgia? I followed a boy. This boy right here, I'm pointing. Are you that way? So Brian and I met in, trying to think of the year. We met in 2002. We started dating in 2003, and I moved here to Georgia from Ohio in 2004. I think that's right. Then we went to Chicago in 2010, and then we came back to Georgia in 2015, and we've been, 2010. I got that all mixed up.
2007.
2008.
2007.
Yeah, 2007, I think we went to Chicago, and then 2010 we came back here. But yeah, I followed Brian. So his family's originally from the Greenville, South Carolina area. Well, really all over, but that was kind of home base for his family. And I loved the South. The thing that I loved the most about it was just how green and lush it was. I mean, obviously because Brian was here, but I love how green and lush it is here. And when we moved to Chicago for a little while, we missed it. And so we decided we wanted to come back here and start our family. So that's how I ended up here. Let's see. Is there a way to see the papers in the product share? I tried today, but it seems shut down after the due date. Yeah, I had to close I had to stick to the due dates. That's why you can't see the papers, but all the papers you can see in the online store. So if you have questions about the 12 specific papers, feel free to email me, but they're all listed in the store. Let's see. Yes, Judy, I will try to list, what I'll do is in the description, I'll put links to those episodes for you. Let's see. For the other, on the pattern sheet. I'm not going to add it to the pattern sheet, but I will add it to the video description for you, okay? Let's see. Ooh, love the pouch. What size would fit a gift card? Actually, none of these would fit a gift card, because the bottom base is 1 3/4 and you need it to be like 2 1/4 for a gift card. So none of these would fit. It would require totally resizing it. Let's see. So as far as the last chance list goes, Lisa, this is a great question. It's always on the even months that the last chance list gets refreshed. And the refresh is a combination of new products added to it, like not new products you've never seen before, but products that move to the last chance list, and then discounts are updated as well. So that is every even month. So the next refresh of the last chance will be in October. So we just had a refresh in August, October, December, February, April, June. What's the last one? August. I already said August. So yeah, even months, refresh, new products are added, and discounts are updated. So the die that I used a combination of stylish shapes and traditional labels. Traditional labels is one of the new ones. I will add all of the products I used in the video description as well. They'll also be on the project sheet. Let's see. They're not low profile, Maria. She's asking if the Cajun Craze embellishments are low profile or if they have a little bit of dimension or height to them. They do have, they're lower profile than some of our other embellishments. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do, it's gonna be hard to tell. But I don't think it says, it just has the diameter dimensions, not the height dimensions. I wouldn't be concerned about mailing these if you put like a piece of cardstock or like a scrap piece from the back of designer series paper over your card. That they're not as dimensional as some of our past embellishments. They're kind of between the low profile and like the really tall. Tall is not the right word, but you know what I mean. So they're kind of right in the middle, but I wouldn't be worried about mailing as long as you put like a protective piece over your card with the embellishment, okay? This would be super cute for a Thanksgiving table setting, Lori. I would honestly go between either the 2-inch, this one, or the 3-inch tall. The 3-inch tall is really cute, I think. And I'm partial to the 3-inch one just because of the way that the flap closes in the front. I just think that looks really cute, a nice little detail. I mean, this one would be cute too, but it is a little bit taller than I would typically do for a table favor. So I would go either with the 2-inch tall or the 3-inch tall. Good question, Nancy. I think that I get to meet with the concept artist next week. I'm not sure. So next week is the Million Sales Achiever Retreat. That's why we won't be live next week. I definitely will be meeting with the concept artist. I don't know if we're going to sit down and talk about my stamp set or not. So I'm excited. I can't wait to tell you guys about it. Let's see. Yes, Francis. So when you go to the Stampin' Up! Website and you go to the sign-in page, there is an option where you can click Forgot Password. You'll get an email address, or you'll get an email to reset your password. If for some reason you don't get that email, call Stampin' Up! Support. They can help you reset your password as well. Their number is 1-800-STAMP-UP, okay? So Brian and I met at work. We both were working at Ernst & Young, and that's how we met. So we were actually both on the same project. It was a big purchase price dispute. I think I've told this story before, but I got to go to Berlin, Germany for 6 months, and Brian went to West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. So his team didn't get to go to on the European trip, but both of us came back to the Cleveland office to wrap up work on that project, and that's how we met. So let's see. All right, that is actually the end of the questions. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed tonight's project. If you did, take a moment to give us a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. You'll get notifications when we're live, which is typically every single Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, except for next Wednesday, we won't be here. So I won't be live on Wednesday, September 10th, but we will be back to our regularly scheduled Live with the Paper Pixie on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. I will email out the project sheet tomorrow to those on my email list. I'll also add a link to the video description. I'll include links to all the products that I used today, as well as on the project sheet. What else? Check out the brand new holiday mini catalog products, the new online exclusives that released, the new kits collection, lots of gorgeous new products to choose from now. I always love this time of year because we've got new stuff and new inspiration to play with. As always, if you have any questions, just email me at support@thepaperpixie.com. Next week, my email replies may be a little bit delayed, but do know that as long as you email support@thepaperpixie.com, you will get a response from me. And don't forget, all you need are stamps, ink, and a little paper pixie. I've got a special shout out for my Pixie patrons in the credits. Thank you, my Pixie patrons, so much for your support. We appreciate you so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed week, and we will see you in 2 weeks on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful and blessed week. We'll see you next time. Bye.